My name is Ray, and I'm a creative digital media artist working across video, audio, animation, and interactive media. I focus on blending art and technology to create engaging, expressive experiences. And recently, I've been focusing on building interactive websites as a way to express my ideas, using them as a space to explore how design and user interaction can communicate deeper concepts. This leads to my final project for this class, the hidden feed. I wanted to explore something that we all experience every day, but don't really think about. My design question is this: how might we design an experience that helps users recognize when algorithmic feeds are shaping what they believe is true or important? The motivation behind this comes from how much of our daily information is filtered through platforms such as TikTok, YouTube, or Instagram. These platforms don't just show us content, but they decide what we see based on what keeps us engaged. Over time, that can shape our beliefs, what we think is important, and how we see the world entirely. What makes this a societal issue is that most people don't really realize it's happening. It feels like we're in control, but a lot of that experience is curated behind the scenes. My project is inspired by media artworks that reveal hidden systems like The Glass Room by Tactical Tech or ImageNet by Roulette, where people can actually see how technology is shaping perception. That idea of learning through experience really influenced my direction for my project. For my bigger vision, I'm imagining something beyond just this prototype. I see this becoming an interactive environment, something that could exist in classrooms, museums, or even online usage where people can experience how their perspective changes in real time. Instead of being told how algorithms work, users would go through different paths and realize that two people starting from the same point can end up seeing completely different versions of reality. Eventually, this idea could even evolve into something like a reverse filter, where instead of just showing you more of what you like, it reveals what you're not seeing. The goal is to make something invisible, like algorithmic influence, feel visible and real. For the actual prototype as you're currently seeing it on your screen, the hidden feed, it is an interactive website that simulates a social media feed. When users enter, they get a short introduction and then start scrolling through content that looks familiar, similar to TikTok. As they interact, liking posts, or just spending time on certain content, the system begins to change what they see. Some perspectives show up more, while others starts disappearing. Over time, the feed becomes much more one-sided, but it happens gradually, and I've also coded it in this case, so it lets you know when it starts happening gradually, so it still feels natural. At the end, the experience reveals what happened. It shows what kind of content the user saw, what was hidden, or how their own interactions shaped that outcome. To make this clearer, I focused on political content and slightly exaggerated the algorithmic behavior so users can really see the shift in much more detail. In terms of the process of it all, this project started much differently. At first, I thought about just explaining how algorithms work, but that felt too straightforward and not very engaging, so I shifted toward creating something interactive instead. I built the project using Visual Studio Code, working mainly with languages such as TypeScript and CSS to create a system that responds to user interaction. Each choice leads to a different path, which allows the experience to change over time. Early versions were pretty simple and didn't clearly show the effect, so I kept iterating, making the feed much more controlled, more noticeable, and more focused. I also created early sketches and flow ideas to map out how users would move through the experience, which helped the structure in the final version. Overall, my project, The Hidden Feed, is really about the awareness of it all. It's not about saying algorithms are good or bad. Algorithms can certainly be useful in some cases, and algorithms can also be a problem in certain cases, such as privacy breaching. But it's about helping people realize how much they influence about what we see and believe. Because once you start noticing that, you start questioning it. And that's where this project really begins to matter.